There's Joe.
Oh,
How you doing?
trying to figure out why I wake up the last 3 days at 7:47
Huh.
in the morning.
I woke up this morning at 4:30. But it could be
Guess
because
what?
I took my clean out pills and
Oh, that's
I spent about
I wake up the last 3 days at 7:47.
drone shots. How you doing? Good morning. So you going flying today, Joe?
Hopefully.
Weather's going to be shitty here for the next day. It's rain on and off.
Stop.
It is not nice.
Wow. Okay, that's what I was trying to listen to. They finally talked about it. Where's my phone?
What's that?
Well, I'm going to share a picture with y'all later in a few minutes. My son sent me this last night. His sister-in-law, 15 miles north of me, saw the Northern Lights.
Oh wow.
They're down all the way down here.
Yeah.
Justin walked out last night and looked, and towards the sky where you could see him, it was still bright, but you couldn't see him. So, and they say it could happen again tonight.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we got clear skies.
We got all kinds of pictures on the news and everything here of the Northern Lights.
That is crazy. That's the picture
Yeah.
from Covington, Louisiana.
Yep. That's
And I-
about the way,
and-
that's about the way it looked here, but it was cloudy on and off last night.
Yeah,
And
we didn't,
I wasn't gonna go out and tromp out there and get, this old man wasn't gonna go out there in the dark, so.
I'd have went out there with the drone. I'd have had my drone up. That's crazy though.
Well, you might get a chance tonight then.
Yeah, what I would like to do, what I'm gonna try to do tonight is, because it apparently they saw it more towards us. So it was more towards the southeast that you saw it, which don't make sense. Doesn't make sense, but they have seen the northern lights once or twice down in Cameron, Louisiana,
Ah,
which is in the east side. It's southwest. So for some reason, people were seeing them last night facing back towards the sunset. That's where you were seeing them. So I'm gonna go out by the lighthouse if I can get out there.
there you
I'd
go.
love to get the video of the lighthouse with northern lights. I mean, that just, I wish they'd have called me when it happened. It happened right at 7 o'clock. They didn't tell me about it till 9 o'clock.
Ah,
But that's unbelievable.
let's see, drone shots. Mr. Scott, Joe going to be tonight. Yes, two.
Go. That's all I got. Go.
Yeah, drone shots. This old man can't, I wasn't up to it last night at all. So, but the news agency and everything was publishing or showing live the Northern Lights. So did I need to go out and see the Northern Lights when I could see them right here, So there was that about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, if I could have walked out and looked at them out the balcony, that's what I would have done. Stop it, Kim. Go.
Well, the problem I have here, if I go back on my back deck, I've got a couple of great big trees and I can't see the north. Getting your PLA out, huh?
Yeah. I printed something yesterday and I must have resized it. I don't know how I resized it.
Now my outside cams didn't pick up anything. Because most of my cams outdoors are pointed with trees in the background, like across here, across there, the backyard, which has, like I said, my backyard's got a couple of great big trees. In fact, I can't on my cameras, I can barely see the schoolyard.
Yeah, I printed a case to fit inside the case. The drone case,
Uh-huh.
to hold all the little accessories. That could fit and it works. Somehow, I printed the top and the top is completely different than the bottom. And I went back and looked and I must have moved it when I was bringing it down. I must have moved it in. So now I got to print the bottom again.
Oh boy.
Well, it just, I should have realized that when I put it in the case and saw the size before I printed the top. But it's all right. rather it right than leave it like it is. Rather get it done the first time. Tina, go eat your dish. No. They are getting picky now. They're getting me mad. You have all your dish. Go eat. They're sitting over here trying to get me to give them more treats. I'm not gonna give them to them. Walking away. Good boy. Probably going to pee on the carpet over there. And that's what he does to me. When I don't do something like that, he'll walk over, and as he walks by my recliner, he'll pick up his leg and pee on it.
Ah,
It's like, he said, okay, you don't want to give me one? I'll pee on your recliner. One of these days, I'm going to throw a shoe. Yeah, it's a kick.
here's my backyard, Joe.
Yeah,
My backyard cam, which faces that southwest over there. North would be here. There's a great big tree here and a great big tree there.
well, from what I gather is that there was no missing it yesterday.
But as you can see, the tree is kind of blocking everything. And there's trees there, trees here.
Yeah. Well, he's trying.
And my other my other cameras, this one's facing south. There's lots of trees. This one's facing north, lots of trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the picture I got from them, it was very pronounced
Right
because
here.
it-
Call her.
the trees around
Here she comes.
around them are like 150 feet, and the whole sky was that color. Stop. Go. It's the last one you get. That's it. You got to eat your dish after this. Yeah, I went to bed last night. Shoot, it was after midnight. And Justin was still on. Justin's losing his views because I don't know how he don't have the same amount of people that are on. Plus he's getting views somewhere I don't know about because it showed he had 5 views last night.
What are you talking about?
You,
Hey,
yeah, with the Fortnite, you're not getting that many people on, are you?
what are you talking about?
On your live stream.
No, I got 146 views last night.
It only showed there were 5 people watching. It must be watching afterwards.
No, I had up to 12 at one point, or 12 or 14.
Okay. Is it doing better than a talk?
Is it doing what?
Better than it was before?
What, like doing a regular live stream?
Yeah.
About the same. I'm getting more people coming into my live chat that have to do with gaming though, than doing the talk ones. Like last night, I had like 3 or 4 people that aren't normal to my channel that came in and were hanging out.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm kind of at the point where I feel like the whole live show doesn't really fit the theme of my channel. So it's like I just want to strictly do gaming stuff.
Well,
So
your focus is, if your focus is on gaming, then that's what you need to stick to. But I still think that maybe what you ought to do is do maybe a few minutes before you go gaming to say, okay, anybody got anything to say, or what's new with everybody? And then we're gonna go game.
yeah, I don't know. I'll figure something out. Just because I seem to be getting more people outside of the normal group of people coming in when I'm just doing the gaming stuff. So that's
But
what
you
I'm
know what
trying to.
I've noticed is that when I kind of watch it, is every once in a while there's comments in there about, is this all we're gonna do is game, or are we gonna talk? And it's like,
Well, that's mostly the people from the normal
yeah,
community,
you're normal. So
but they also have to realize that I'm gaming. So I don't know what to tell them.
you gotta have
I'm
some
trying to
way to
attract.
kind of equal it out, you know?
I'm trying to attract more people outside of my normal community so I can get a bigger audience.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but if you lose your audience you already have, just because you're replacing them, you gotta get that balance right.
well, Dusty was the only one really saying anything last night about that because he's used to us doing the live stream. But no, there's quite a few people that have been hanging around watching us, like Jim's Droning, Mike, Night Train. There's about 7 or 8 that will actually sit and watch us play the whole night. Because like Jim's Droning actually plays games, and he was actually talking about downloading it and playing it.
I used to watch my kids play it, and I used to sit here bored.
Justin, you try Hydro Dip.
Joe,
No,
Justin?
no, I haven't tried it yet.
Jody, Joel.
I'm definitely gonna look into it, but no, I haven't done it yet.
That's my audio.
Hi, Tim.
What's up,
Hey,
Tim?
Mark.
Jim,
What's up, Joel,
Oh,
Joe,
Yeah.
Jody? I think that's it so far.
Joe, how you doing? Skyfly, drone shots, Judy.
Yeah, everybody, I'm getting ready to type everybody in there. Look. So Justin, last night my son calls me at 9 o'clock from North Carolina. Says they don't see anything because it's raining, but he sends me a picture from Folsom, Louisiana, actually Covington, Louisiana, right north of me, where they were seeing the Northern Lights.
Oh, nice.
They're
Now,
all
wait,
over.
this is
They've
at
been
9
seeing
o'clock.
some Queensland.
Yeah, 9 o'clock is when he sends me the picture. It happened at 7 o'clock. Why didn't he let me know at 7 o'clock? Justin ran outside and looked, and he said the sky's still bright off to the side, and they're saying it could happen again tonight.
They've been seeing them
so-
in Queensland. and we haven't had them in Queensland. Usually,
Well, you guys don't get the northern lights, you get the ones from the southern pole. I
yeah,
think.
we get the auroras. Yep.
Yeah. You know, I guess you would call them the southern lights.
If he saw the northern lights, we're in trouble.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. They
Yeah,
call
I
them
mean-
auroras. They call them auroras. They're from
Yeah.
the south,
Yeah.
southern ones.
Yeah, if I'm seeing the northern lights in Florida, there's something seriously wrong in the universe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
it's
I've never
one of
seen-
those 1 in a million year things.
I've never seen the northern lights, and I've been in upper state New York. I've never seen them.
Well, you have to, well, too, if you're in a big city, you're probably not going to be able to see them too well because of all the city
Yeah.
lights. That's the problem is when you're in major cities, the lights drown out the sky where you can't even see stars.
Have you ever been like Elmira, New York, and Buffalo, New York? It's not a big
Yeah,
city.
I've been in
It's
Buffalo.
out
Yeah.
in the- yeah, I've been out in the bushes up there and never seen it.
Well, you have to monitor it too. Like nowadays, they have apps that you can download, like Laura does, and she monitors the
Yeah.
app and it tells her when they're visible. Same with Ron.
I
That's
used to
what he
watch-
does.
I used to watch Elvira every Saturday night.
Elmira, yeah, after Headbangers Ball, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
But,
Saturday. Was that Saturday or Friday, Joe? Saturday
I don't
night.
remember. I think it was
Saturday night. Yeah. Headbangers Ball, then it was Elmira, and then wasn't it that what's the name? That heart, the little what's that little guy, the doll that they did? Came out of the crypt. Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt.
I wish
That
they
was
would redo
Elmira.
Tales from the Crypt. I'd
Mm.
like to see a remake of Tales from the Crypt. I really liked that show back in the day. Because one of the reasons why I like that show is because every episode was something new and didn't have anything to do with the previous episode. You know, as they were
Yep.
mini stories. So it was,
Yeah, but keep it the same doll. Like, you know what I mean? The Crypt
oh
Keeper.
yeah, I wanted exactly the
Keep it
same,
him.
just updated.
Yeah.
You know,
Keep it him.
but I like shows where every
Mhm.
episode's something new and you don't have to watch a previous episode to not miss anything. You know what I'm saying? Those
Yeah.
kind of shows are really cool because you can miss a couple episodes and you don't have to worry about catching up.
Yeah.
You know? No, I'd like
And
to
that
see a
last game,
remake of it.
that last game sort of pissed me off. I can't believe that.
I got one of them down, but there was 3 of them. The other 2 got you.
Yeah, like you said, I should have just kept on running or whatever. Get out of that storm. I could have got him outside of the storm. But
All right.
anyway, I got your card. Then about 3 or 4 of them shot me. Oh,
Yeah, because you were going towards your marker. I was like, no, that's not the right one.
Yeah. And then I looked to the left, see if I had the wide screen, the curved screen, I would have sold on my left.
Oh, so this is your justification for buying a widescreen
Yeah.
now?
That's right. That's right. So that's my justification that I got to save up and buy a 47-inch.
Tim's like, I got the widescreen, but I'm in severe debt. But I have it.
It's another fucking bill. I don't like bills anymore. I like to own what I have, and if I want to throw it away, I throw it away. I like to own. I'm not a materialistic guy, but I like the shit. You should wait until you see my desk, my computer desk that I'm getting. It's called a Typhoon. I think I showed you before, Justin. It's called the Typhoon. It's a stand up and then a regular, and then it can stand up.
I think you have, yeah.
It's about $380, but I don't yet at desk yet. Oh, Joe, man, back at Headbangers Ball, Tales from the Crypt, Elvira. Like that.
I used to watch it years back. I haven't watched, and I don't know after when I went to the Marine Corps, it was during the Marine Corps time, but I just stopped watching.
You remember MTV used to be just videos and music, and then they got through all this other crap. I just want to stop
Oh, I
watching.
had they had VH1 out there too.
That was after MTV.
Yeah, I used to have a 8-track recorder. when they first came out. And I used to every Saturday night when they came out with their top 40, I used to sit there and record every Saturday night on the 8-track.
The top 100s. Yeah, I remember that.
They used to do a top 40.
Top 40, yeah. And then the other bloke from New York, he just passed away, but he used to do it from New York. But MTV used to be just music videos, and then Headbangers Ball, and Elmira, and Tales.
Yep.
Back in the days when we only had, well, when I was young, we only had 3 channels, 3, 6, and 10.
So
You know,
these
Tim,
are,
Tim, don't take this the wrong way, but you know what I get a kick out of was when you reminisce about the good old days, is how you start to sound like a lot of my friends, the old guys.
Well, I remember the TVs that used to go from 0, 0. Remember that?
Yep, yep.
0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3.
And you remember your parents used to say, hey, go turn that up or turn that down. There wasn't no remote control.
Or turn the
Or move the
turn
antenna.
rabbit ears.
Yep.
Or turn the rabbit ears. Yeah.
so that's the updated monitors, Tim. So they're full
Same
HD,
size.
100 hertz refresh rate. But this one has the blue light and the Asus, what is it, the G-Sync Pro on it.
They're the
It's
same
not-
size. They're the same monitors I got. I got 27 inch, 27
Yeah,
inch
it's the same size as the ones I already have, but these ones got a little bit better features on them.
Oh, 100 hertz. Oh, kiss my.
Yeah, and it's got the blue light protection too for your eyes, which these ones don't have. So it helps with your vision and everything, so you don't get.
Hey, Tim, did you get a chance in Australia? Did you guys see the Aurora Borealis last night?
What's up, Lord?
Trevor did. Trevor saw it.
No, it wouldn't have been the northern lights. It would have been the southern lights.
Southern is Aurora, and northern is the Northern Lights.
Well, Joe's area got it down there by New Orleans.
Well, Trevor got it in Sydney or South Australia, and they said some people in southern Brisbane saw it, but I didn't see them. And I'm out in the sticks. I have no lights around, so I can see the sky clear as day. So I asked my landlord about that bracket, Justin, with the TV right there,
Uh-huh.
and he said, "Yep, I'll do it." I said, "I need another bracket right here for my curved screen that I'm getting." He goes, "You got a curved screen?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gaming." And he goes, "Oh God."
Yeah, Joe, it used to be music television. Now it's just reality TV.
Oh,
And then there was that one channel that came out and they were like, it was MTV's like rival. It was called,
VH1.
no, it wasn't
VH1.
VH1. It was another one called,
Kerrang.
was it RTV or something? It was,
I don't know what he's talking about.
it
I
was
thought it
one,
was VH1.
no, there was one that came out way after VH1 and MTV, and they were like advertising they were the alternative to MTV because they were just doing music videos, but then they ended up doing the same thing MTV did. They went to a bunch of reality shows.
I probably wasn't watching TV at that time. I didn't watch a lot of TV.
There was one.
I had
there was
3
one-
jobs taking care of my family.
There was one called Kerrang as well.
I've never heard that one. It
Heard
was,
it.
the hell
I
was the
just-
name of it? I can't remember.
I remember fucking going away for a month, 2 months at a time. I had 3 jobs. Like I told you the other day, Justin, I shouldn't have worked so much during my life, but I had to. I had time to play.
You try to look it up, Justin. Kerang.
No, I'm trying to find the one that I used to.
Right.
It was a one that was a replay. They were like I said, they advertised they were a replacement for MTV at the time. But then they ended up doing the same thing MTV did. They ended up going to reality shows because VH1 and MTV all went to reality shows at the same time.
Hey,
No,
Justin,
it was one after that. It was called CTV or something like that. It was or something like that. It wasn't around very long because they went to reality shows and then not too long after that, I think they kind of died off. I don't think it's around anymore.
don't remember hearing anything like that. Hey, Justin, you do know I got to stay up until I get level 82, so it might be a long night for me.
And
gotta get
here's the
to
picture. Here's the picture my son sent me last night. He forwarded, that was his sister-in-law. It was about 10 miles. It's about where that property is that I'm looking at that I'd like to buy. And if I would have been up there, because there's no lights up there. This is what they were seeing.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's about 10 miles, 12 miles north of me.
I wonder if Ron got some good pictures out in Wyoming.
That's crazy. And like I said, Justin ran outside last night and looked when we got the picture. And
No,
he
I
said
didn't.
out towards that area, the sky
Hi,
was still
Laura.
kind of bright, but he couldn't see
Look
it.
at the stars, man. Stars.
Yeah, I know. That's why I told him, I said, it looks fake to me. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that, right? And then they're showing them right now on TV.
That's beautiful, man.
Right
Well,
now.
Laura sent me pictures of what she saw. And then she sent me pictures of what Trevor saw. And beautiful.
Hold on. Laura
Justin,
sent,
check.
yeah, Laura sent,
Laura's saying, Justin, check your messages. And she's asking Joe if he got the picture that she sent him.
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. But look,
hold on.
that's the newscast right there showing it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look at that. That's wide frame, isn't it?
My question.
No, that's my TV.
Okay, so these
Hold
are
on.
Laura's pictures. What the hell is this thing?
That's from
that-
Trevor. That's the Aurora. That's down here. That's the Southern Lights.
What do you mean that's from Trevor?
That's Southern Lights. That's from Trevor. That's Southern Lights. That's here in Australia.
And
What he
that's
got-
a harbor he's looking across.
That's the capture. That's yeah.
So
That's the
Laura
Aurora.
forwarded.
We don't have the Northern Lights. We have the Aurora.
Okay,
That's the Northern Lights.
that's not what I'm
Tim,
asking though.
They're
Laura's,
both called the Aurora.
No,
The Northern
that's
Lights
all-
looks like
are
an
the
airplane right
Aurora
there.
Borealis. And
Those
the
are all
Australian
dots on the
ones
water.
are the Aurora Australis.
That's what I just said, Mark. It's the Aurora.
No, you just said the Aurora. They both called the Aurora.
Well, whatever. Southern Lights.
so these
The,
were
the
pictures.
Northern Lights are the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, they're Northern Lights. This is Southern Lights.
And the Southern Lights are the Aurora Australis.
Okay, so
Oh,
why
my God.
Go
I
ahead.
got so
Go ahead,
technical.
Justin.
Trevor didn't send these to me? Laura said these are her pictures.
No,
Because
that's
when
what
you-
Trevor said. She said it in
When
the
you
chat.
say
He was on a plane. That's what
Oh,
she
Well,
okay.
you know what Laura's gonna say to you, what Laura's gonna say to you is check your messages.
Well, she said it in the chat. She said Trevor sent me it. He was on a plane. The pink and blue one is mine.
Okay.
Trevor was on a plane.
I ain't even gonna lie, that red one looks like an AI photo.
I have never seen. I've never seen. I would like to see him, but I've never seen him.
Well, supposedly you're supposed to be able to
Look.
maybe see it again tonight.
Morning, Laura.
That's the picture from the newscast just a minute ago.
I'll turn my
That's what
lights
it was
off.
looking like.
I'll turn my outside lights off.
And that's Abita Springs, which is 10 miles north of me. That's crazy. So I'm gonna be looking at that. I'm gonna go up that way tonight.
Oh,
See,
fuck
see,
off.
nobody bothered to tell
Mhm.
Joe that
Corey?
he could see it until
Mike.
after.
She must be watching. My friend of mine must be watching. Jennifer, if you're watching, she just sent me pictures of the Southern Lights.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah. But the good news is we're gonna have the same kind of weather tonight and they're expecting it again.
Look at that one. Look at that one. Can you all see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
She must be in the chat, but she's not talking.
I'm
Wow.
gonna call my buddy Dave that owns that property, and I'm gonna say, meet me out there tonight. We're gonna go out there because, like I said, it's pitch black out there. So we're gonna get out there, and I'll get out there with a drone.
well,
get it up above the tree
a
line.
lot of the photos that I've seen, Joe, is right at sunset. I mean, it's still a little bit light.
Yeah, it's right at sunset.
Joe, that's usually how ghost stories start. And then the northern lights, all that extra radiation that's really going to kick off the activity.
Well, what kind of tipped Joe off last night was his Christmas tree kept going on and off too, right?
Hey, show me the nuts.
My God. That's funny.
That
Oh,
was
cool.
a step above.
By the way, Corey, Tim's looking for ammunition if you know where he's at.
But
Dude,
you know,
I'm
the ironic
doing better on
part,
that game now.
yeah, Tim, the ironic part is my son up in Alaska for 5 weeks, comes home, and he's got a better chance of seeing him at home than he did in Alaska when he was up there
Really?
and in North Carolina.
Wow.
Well, it was like
I lived
Rigger
in North
said.
Carolina. I lived in North Carolina. I never saw him. I went to New
Well,
York.
they had him last night, but he couldn't see him because it was overcast and raining.
Well,
Go
the
ahead,
reason
Justin.
I was gonna say the reason why everybody's been seeing him is like Rigger was coming. Rigger was the first one to come in the chat yesterday and tell us there was a big solar flare going
Yeah.
on. So that's why it was.
Did he capture pictures of
I don't know.
Mark or Darcy or him? That would have been cool.
Oh, it is gonna be a good one tonight, probably.
Laura said she was up till 3 o'clock this morning getting photos.
Yeah,
The
that's what
K-
she told me. in a
The
message.
the KP index is up to 8.33.
What's up?
You
What's
serious?
that?
Yeah. The KP index is a measurement of solar flare activity. It's
Oh, good.
the magnetic
8.33.
effect. 8.33.
Well, ain't no flying right now.
You said? Did you
No,
say?
no flying.
Say kinetic?
Well, the KP index is what you always check before you fly because it'll screw with your control.
It's a
of your
magnetic
drone.
interference and it knackers your GPS signal.
Yep.
Yeah, when it's
Well,
really
Bob,
high,
it
you
ought to be
don't want to be
good.
out flying.
'Cause yesterday it was 5.67 in the afternoon.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like noontime. It was 5.67. It's 8.33 right now.
833,
It
so
ought
it's
to
even
be-
higher. Okay.
It ought to be good tonight.
It ought to be good when Joe throws his drone up there to catch it.
Be like
Hey.
flying a tornado.
Actually,
There it
Joe,
goes.
what you need to do is take your professional cameras out there and get some really good shots.
That's really what's going to happen.
Because I wouldn't throw your drone up just to be on the safe side.
I'll check the KP index right before. But
Take your tripods
well,
out there and shit and set up a.
well, yesterday it was 5.67 at noon, and at 1 o'clock it went down to 1.3. So it changed.
Yeah, I can still
I was
see
flying
29
yesterday.
satellites.
Well, it's saying I got 22 satellites right now.
Yeah, I can see 29. And
But
lock
that's the
on
highest I've ever
25.
seen. A KP index.
Yeah.
So I was
high.
getting ready to.
Mhm.
I was getting ready to put the picture up about the 5.67 yesterday when you said 8.33. So you messed my thunder up. Stole my thunder. I was
Well,
just getting ready to do it.
it just dropped down to 8.00.
It's changing.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's it's going to
All
go
right,
down
Laura.
probably by about noon today. Probably flyable.
Yeah, it is safe to fly at 8, just about.
See you, Laura. Take care.
Yeah, what I would do is get all your cameras out there with your lenses and everything and set up some tripods and get some really good shots.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you, the lens I would bring out there to probably do it is just the 120, 70 to 120. That way I could pull it back to 70 millimeters and just get a shot like that. And it's the 2.8, so I get rid of the grain and just do a longer exposure.
What about
Get
doing that? What about doing a time lapse?
Yeah, I
Do
can't do that
some-
with my camera. My camera
Do
won't do it.
something like a 2 or 3 second exposure.
Well, I was
Yeah,
just
to
saying.
do the newer cameras, they're coming out now, have them built in that you can do like hyperlapses too.
Oh,
But,
the X.
the camera I got, you can't. You're gonna have to have something to tell it to take a picture every 30 seconds.
Don't the X3 comes out with that? Joe? The X3?
Wait, say again?
The X3, I'm pretty sure that comes out.
Yeah, I
with
think it does.
Hey,
Actually,
Joe,
Yeah,
hey,
I
Joe,
got the
that'll
action.
do-
I got the
that will
action
do
too. That'll
time
do
lapse,
that.
but
Joe,
that-
I got a
that's not
question about
professional
time
camera.
lapse exposure. The Aurora Borealis is moving. So if you did time lapse, it would be blurry, right?
No,
You'd get the movement of it.
you
You
get
get
the
the-
movement.
Time
I
lapse
could do it
is
with
just
this.
taking a picture every so often, every couple of seconds or whatever.
Then
Well,
stitching it
you're
together.
You're lucky that Paul Bunyan
No,
and
you don't
Blue.
stitch it together. You just make it into like
Yeah.
a small video.
Hold on. You're lucky that Paul Bunyan and Blue is having a fight to give you these Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Remember that story? Anyway,
I've heard of it,
I'm too old. Never mind.
but I could take this thing and set it up somewhere where I can get a good shot, and just I could put a hyperlapse of 20 minutes, and it'll give me about a 40 second like video of it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah, I could do it with this.
Huh.
I forget I got that. I actually
You
do.
forgot until I
I
said
forget I
it.
have it.
You forgot until I said it.
And it's and Tim, look, it's right here.
Oh my God,
I
That's old.
I forget about it.
that's old
I
man
don't,
syndrome.
I don't think of that as cameras as my cameras.
That's old man syndrome. That's why you couldn't remember about the Paul Bunyan and Blue fighting. Very good.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh Lord. I do want to get a good camera though. Good camera. Joe was asking, is it a time lapse or a long exposure that's best for the Aurora?
The time lapse will give you the video effect. A long exposure, it's going to depend on the camera you have. I would probably, just by what I'm seeing and what the pictures look like, I would probably say if I had one of my professionals out there, I would do probably 3.2 just to keep away from being all the way open. Maybe 3.5 on the aperture, but I would try to get about a 30-second exposure, or I'd just take I actually have to bracket it first. I'd take the first picture to see what it looked like with like a 3.2. And if I needed to adjust from there, I'd do it like 1/100th of a second. I wouldn't go much higher.
Want to make sure
3.2 1/100th of a second, and that might work.
You want to make sure it's not blowing out too.
Yeah, you don't want to blow it
The
out.
time lapse
Because if
will
you
give
do,
you
if you do a half a second, it might blow it out. But if you keep the aperture around at night, now if it's still like dusk, like sunset, and it's doing it, you could probably go up to 5.6 because it's so bright, and shoot that at 1/100th of a second, and probably a perfect picture.
yeah, the time lapse will just take a picture every second or two and give you basically a fast.
But I would start
action.
out with, I'd start out with
Give you
about a 5.6 of a second just to see what it does, and then I'd adjust from there. Because a lot of times, what you learn is doing professional photography. You'll go out there and you'll look at the conditions, and you'll snap the first picture and glance at it and say, okay, I got to keep my f-stop at this. If it's sports, I got to keep it here. So the only thing that I can change is the f-stop down. I mean, I got to keep my shutter at the right thing, so I got to drop the f-stop. to get my thing. And you got to figure if you had 5.6 and you go up a stop, you've doubled your exposure to
Right.
it. If you go
Right.
down a stop, you've cut it in half. So that's what you got to realize.
Yeah, the difference is a time lapse will give you a
Yeah.
speeded up video, whereas a long exposure will just give you one picture, and anything that moves in that picture will leave a blurred tail
Blurry. In
behind
other
it.
words, like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was talking about was a long exposure. If it as it scintillates and moves, it's going to be blurry, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they don't
could be.
move that quick or that far at that kind of distance. So a longer exposure is just going to let more light in and give you a better picture.
I mean, y'all talking about getting your drones in the air, just remember, you're not really supposed to fly with the high index. Keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
We'll see what happens.
You can be safe with the KP up to about 10. If it gets over 10, it's going to get a bit more dangerous. But
Well, you definitely want to check that before you put it up to.
I never heard of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Joe, the long exposure would give it to you, but you could blow it out. That's the biggest thing. So that's what I was saying. If you got a camera that you can adjust, if you're not what's the word? I can't say comfortable. If you don't do it a lot, where you don't adjust your shutters and your apertures a lot, if you can shoot it in automatic the first time and see what your settings are, you can jump from there. Because the camera's going to try to give you the best picture it can, but it's always going to do something wrong. So if you take that first picture and it comes out and it says, well, it's 5.6 and it's 120th of a second, and it looks like it's a little bit dark, leave the 120th of a second because you want to freeze it, and that'll give you a little bit of that'll freeze it. Anything below 100th of a second, you start worrying about a little shake. And then what you do, and it depends on your focal length too. Then you just drop that 5.6 down to maybe a 4, and it might give you all the light you need.
you can go higher in the speed, or slower in the speed, I should say,
Yeah.
if you have it on a tripod. But handheld, you're going to be a bit more awkward.
Oh yeah. If you're on a tripod, you could drop that down to a quarter of a second and not worry about it. But again, you got to also realize the northern lights, they're fluctuating. There's a pulse to them. That's why I would make sure I'm at least trying to stay at 100th of a second to try to freeze them. Because I think if you go lower than that, I think there's a good possibility you will get a blur, or it won't be a blur. It'll be like a silky effect.
It'll give a tail to whatever's moving. But
Yeah.
the northern lights tend to be a big block of colour anyway, rather than individual bits. So it's just going to let more of it in.
It's like if you're walking down a creek and you see a little waterfall, and you shoot it at 120th of a second, you're going to have some stoppage in the water. If you go to 1,000th of a second, it's going to stop. You might have water splashing, and you're going to see it in the air. But if you drop it down to 80th of a second, that water is going to change to look like a silky effect. Could be more silky than anything else. So you got to watch your shutter speed, the biggest thing.
It'll give you more motion blur.
Yeah.
What is the KP index and why does it matter? The KP index measures the geomagnetic disruption caused by solar activity on a scale of 0 to 9.
The 9. And it was at 8.33.
Anything below a 3 is usually safe to fly. The higher the KP index, the more likely you are to have difficulties getting an accurate GPS lock.
I thought it went higher than 9, to be honest.
That's crazy. If it's 9 and 833, that's unbelievable.
I thought it went higher than 9.
Hey,
Not
Justin.
Not according to UAV forecast.
What?
Justin, Jason's live.
Is he?
All right.
Yeah, he's playing.
Well, if you had a drone you didn't care about, you might try putting it up, you know?
Hey, Laura, I love those pictures. Those are nice. She sent me the pictures too. I like those. They're real. I mean, I'd have stayed up late too if I was watching them.
That's
That'd
a good looking tug and barge right there.
And she's sneaky. She's sneaky. She got a watermark in there, so fade. You look up and then you see Little Llama Laura. She got you're a smart person. I didn't say that. I'll never say that again. Don't clip it. Shut up, Laura. Now, whenever you have a picture like that, you bury your watermark somewhere where you know where it's at, but they don't really see it. It's not something that you could really see.
Is
Yeah.
that on the pictures or on her channel?
I just asked Google.
On the picture,
and
she said.
It said, yeah, the highest that the normally intensity wise is 9, and at that the aurora borealis can be visible at the equator.
Wow. Hey, Joe. Yeah, I like that. That's called light painting. With the way you did that, that's a long exposure. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I was down there for that ship because that's a really good looking tug and barge. They take care of that tug. Painted up nice, looking good.
Yeah, I don't think I'd risk it over water with the KP index that high.
Just send it. Like I said, my KP index yesterday was 5 point something, and that was at 12:52 p.m. So when I went out and I got by Bayou Lacombe, I looked at it and it said it was going to change in the next few minutes. And when it went up, it was like a 2.3 after that, and I flew that sucker over water all over the place.
Yeah,
But I waited a couple minutes.
2.3 when it went dark last night.
Yeah, as soon as it went down, I took off. Yeah, I was shocked to see that the Bayou Lacombe, just south of Highway 90 by the bridge. I've always thought it was going to be about the size of the Bogfalaya River. It's about the size of the Chafunka River. It's like 4 times the size of the small Bogfalaya. I showed that to Justin yesterday, and he didn't realize it was that big down there. Huge. Shoot, if you didn't know anybody, you'd think it's part of the Mississippi.
I did notice that the water had a bit of a brown tinge to it when you were flying it the other day.
Yeah, it depends on where it's at. The Bogfalaya has because of the sediment, it's going to always be that color.
Just be careful, Joel.
The one I flew over yesterday, because it's got a little deeper water, it's going to have more of a bluer tint.
Right.
And then Lake Pontchartrain usually has a green tint, but depends on which way the wind's blowing, it could give it a brown tint. You know,
Yeah.
and it depends on what time of year, because if all the florals, I think it's called the florals, in there start growing, then it'll change the color of it completely to a blue. So
yeah, the algae.
It just depends on when you're over. And then you go a little south, you go down to
I want to go and see where that place is, where the algae in the sea is actually fluorescent and the sea glows at night.
That's California. It happens in California along the coast. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I lived in California for a couple of years and didn't even know about it. Well, I would have went down and tried to see it.
Mm,
That's what happens when you're married. You get married and you get tied up in everything in the family. And you don't know anything else going on.
yeah.
Married with 3 kids, you come home and then you got all the kids to deal with. Then you got the wife to deal with, and the mother-in-law lived there, so I had the mother-in-law to deal with. And by the time it was time for me to deal with, I was ready to go to bed.
I was all right. My mother-in-law was 6,500 miles away.
Would she live in America or something?
Seychelles. Seychelles.
Never heard of it.
Seychelles, it's a group of islands in the Indian Ocean north of Madagascar. Sort of due east from Nairobi in Kenya.
Yeah, I saw that movie, Madagascar.
Never heard of it. Well, I mean, you could try it, Joel. Just keep an eye on that index level and just be careful. Because
Make sure you're in an open area.
if what Paul was looking up said 9 was the highest and it was 8 point something, that's pretty fucking high.
8.33.
Yeah, that's pretty damn high.
It's high enough for me.
Justin,
But that's high enough for me to keep the case closed.
you've heard of the US Air Base Diego Garcia, haven't you?
Yeah, Diego Garcia, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was part of the Seychelles.
Yeah, that was the island that Britain pretty much gave the US's strategic holdover for base.
Yeah.
Then they displaced all the local population.
That's right.
Because they've been
Yeah.
fighting in the UK
Alright.
courts for decades now, trying to get that island back. But
Well,
the UK government's never gave in on it.
That is where my ex's mother was born. Which
I
is
think
why she had a British passport, even though she just moved into the Seychelles main island.
because I think you guys, I don't even know if do you guys technically still own that island, or did you give it to the US?
We took it.
Because they gave it to them after World War II. It was sometime after World War II they gave it to them.
I'm not sure if they haven't given it back to the Seychelles now.
No, they're still there. I know that the U.S. government is. The base is still there, but I know I was watching a documentary on it. And they said the local population that was originally from the island has been suing the UK government for decades, trying to get it back, and the courts just pretty much ignore the lawsuits because of the strategic, I guess, importance of that base.
Yeah.
They're pretty much never going to get it back. Is pretty much what
Yeah, they just recently said that.
the way the UK government in that documentary, the way they were talking, it was like the UK government pretty much was telling them they're never getting it back. They might as well just get over it, type thing.
They gave all the
security.
residents British passports, and most of them just moved on to the main island of Mahe in the Seychelles.
Right.
But some of them did come over to the UK.
Yeah, there's a whole group of them over there in the UK, like I said, that have been protesting and fighting to get it back for a couple decades now, and they're pretty much have told them no.
Well, there's quite a few Seychelles in the UK at the moment. But, I mean, the total population of the Seychelles Islands, and there's 150 islands, but there's only 3 of them mainly populated, is only about 60,000 people in total.
Because I want to say the Diego Garcia, it was a population of a couple thousand, right? It wasn't very many.
That's it. Maybe not even that.
And most of those people are probably the original inhabitants, I think, are all dead. It's all their grandchildren and shit fighting for it, trying to get it back. Cause it was
Um,
given right after World War II, I wanna say.
I'm not sure whether her mother was born on the Seychelles or it's her mother's mother that was born on on Diego Gracia.
Cause if I remember correctly from that documentary I was watching, I think most of them are grandkids that have been fighting for it to try to get it back. But they said the UK courts won't even hear the cases. Like they just pretty much they file for to go to court about it, but then the courts just pretty much ignore it and don't even do
Yeah.
anything about it.
Uh-huh.
Did anybody see Randy's Mad Props' latest video?
No.
He did the second flight with the motion controller with the Avata 2. And he talked about how it actually is not as bad as he thought it was and all of this. And he called Rod out. He said, I'm going to South Florida, Rod. He said, you better be ready. He said, I'm coming for you. And I sent him I sent Randy the picture of that last flight I flew over by the property. And what I did is as I took off, as I started to lean forward with the drone, I pulled the trigger and I pulled it all the way back accidentally. So it took off, and when it took off, it's so wide open, I just curved in and I just kept it wide open the whole flight. And it was going at about 23 miles an hour in some places. And I was cutting in between the trees, and I came in between the tree and it had like branches, and I did a kind of deal with my wrist, and it went in and out of the branches and all that. And I just said, well, shoot, this thing's flying good. Just keep flying. Don't stop, you know? And it was just, it was it was a perfect flight because I was focused. I wasn't worried about the speed as much. I was focused on what I was doing, and I was looking at spots and I was hitting the spots. And I came back and I said, well, shoot, I got to do that every flight because then I don't think about hitting something. I'm just thinking about going through that. That's what I got to go through right there. And that's what the motion control.
That aiming circle you get with the motion controller is really good, isn't it? And you don't get that with the sticks.
I'm telling you, like I said, I have the sticks for the original, but I don't think I'm gonna get the. I already know I'm not getting the sticks for the second one. I'm gonna stay with the motion controller, and I'm thinking about selling the other one with everything but the sticks. Just so I'll have the sticks, but if I keep the sticks, and I just sell a one drone, and I'll have the motion controller and the stick, I may get the sim and start playing with the sim just to have something to do in here, and that way I could use the sticks for it.
Yeah.
I see somebody did a did a YouTube thing about flying the Avata 2 with sticks, and he says how much smoother it was.
Oh, I don't believe that. And the reason I don't believe that is I've flown with sticks, and I think it wasn't Randy. It wasn't Randy that did that, but it depends on how much time you've been on it. I think you can fly it smooth, but the motion controller, what it does, it has some kind of feature in there. It's almost like a rock steady feature that when you start turning it, it will adjust. It'll have a smoother glide when you're yawing and doing anything. And when you're making turns, as long as you don't jerk it, it's gonna adjust to know it's making a turn, and it's gonna be as smooth as you could think. That video I put out yesterday, I made some turns, and I mean, it's just banking so perfect.
I think when it comes down to it, though, it's just people's personal preference or opinion
Yeah,
on
that's what I
that.
was thinking.
Because some people might assume, like, think that the sticks are better, and some people are going to think the motion controller is better. It's just, I think they have to use both of them to really have a real good idea and opinion
Yeah.
on it, though, because you could say one's better than the other, but if you haven't tried both of them, it's hard to say that,
Yeah,
which
I've
one's
tried
better.
both.
Now, if you
You
try
know,
both of them and then you form your opinion from there, but like I said, nobody's ever going to 100% agree with one side or the other. It's going to be
yeah.
one side's going to say sticks are better, one side's going to say the motion controller is better.
Yeah, I've tried both with the original Avata, and I like the sticks because if I'm flying at a foot off the ground and I'm flying at 36 miles an hour, that I could have the stick full forward and have my whole hand off that other stick, and it's going to stay a foot off the ground. Whereas in the motion control, if I'm flying 36 miles an hour and I tilt my hand a little bit, it might go down to 8 inches, 6 inches, 4 inches on me, and then I got to bring it back up. So
Okay,
that's the difference.
my question is, okay, remember how Rod was talking about people with mobility issues, the motion controller would be
Yeah.
good for them? My question is, and this it isn't meant to sound mean or anything, but people with mobility issues, should they actually really be even flying drones though? Because you wouldn't be able to fly a plane if you had issues like that.
Well, it
And
depends.
technically,
It
they
depends
treat
on,
it like well, they treat drones like regular aircraft. So
yeah.
should you really be flying? Because is your reaction time or your reaction going to be as good as somebody who's
It all depends on the
able?
mobility issue, I think.
That's my
You
only
know?
thing. And like, I'm not trying to sound mean or anything, but it's
Oh,
like,
I understand.
if
If I
somebody has problems with their hands or something, should they really be flying? Because is their reaction time going to be as good as somebody who's perfectly able? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, if I had Parkinson's and I was trying to, and I mean real bad Parkinson's, I'm trying to fly with a motion controller, I'm gonna be hitting everybody in the head around, you know?
What?
Don't forget, hasn't Lloyd got Parkinson's?
Yeah. But I mean if I had it real bad, that's what I mean. If
Yeah.
it but depending on the level of what you have, I think it would be good because Lloyd has the Scottish thing to put the motion controller in so that it doesn't move. So he's got
Yeah.
something that's stable and he's holding on to it. You
Because
see? So he's
I
got something stable doing that.
because I feel like that's the same way with driving the car, right? Like there's some people I've seen that drive cars that they built special vehicles for, and I'm kind of looking at them and I'm like, should they really be driving even though they allow them to? Because it's like if they go to get in an accident, is their reaction going to be as quick as somebody else? You know what I'm saying? That has
Yeah.
full mobility of their hands. And because I've seen people that have like messed up hands and stuff for medical issues, but they're still allowed to drive. And I'm like, is that really a good thing though, at the end of the day? I know everybody wants to treat everybody kind of equal, but at the same time, it's like certain things like that. It's like, should they really be allowed to do it
Yep.
because of
Well,
safety issues?
over here, they can take your license off you depending on what your
Oh,
mobility issue is.
yeah, they can do that over here too, but like I said, it's not to sound mean. It's just, it's like, should certain people be flying drones? Because what if a helicopter, are they going to be able to react as quick as somebody that's, got full mobility and has a little bit quicker reaction time? You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just something I thought about when he was talking about it that day. I was just thinking, in certain cases, even if they can fly, should they fly? You
Yeah.
know? Because their hand movements and stuff like that might not be as quick as somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just a question I had. It was something I was thinking about. Like I said, it's not to sound mean or anything, but they treat Bo, they treat drones like aircraft. So it's like if you were flying a regular aircraft, you wouldn't be allowed to do that. You know?
I don't know. Douglas Bader flew aircraft with two false legs.
Ah,
This one must be where they're setting up the controller.
Yeah. He's setting all his rates up and all this stuff. See, that's
Yep.
the other thing. I don't want to have to try to learn all the stuff about setting up rates and what they do and all of that. I could pick it up with the motion control and just fly. And
Well,
then I can learn what the drone's doing.
it's pretty much the same as setting your expo.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta make a trip to Red Bluff. I gotta go up there, that little Grand Canyon, and fly the Bada two all up in there.
Hmm.
I'm gonna bring both of them. I'm gonna have the Bada and the Bada too. So I can fly both and compare it.
Mm.
One of the rates that I really like to make sure I really check is that rate right there. You see how low that is? Some people like to speed that up.
So I could do that flip in easy acro and I don't have to worry about stick.
I see what you're talking about. Unless you're doing some kind of,
Huh.
Pitch roll and everything.
Well, that's too much work for me. I don't wanna know all that.
Like my whole thing with the mobility issue, like if you're somebody like Rob that's in a wheelchair, that's fine because your hands and your arms are still at 100%.
Hmm.
But if you're, I don't know, if you're somebody that's got mobility issues in your hands and arms, I don't know if that's a good idea to be flying, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, a person might only have one hand, but have perfect mobility in that
Well,
hand.
that's what
In
I'm
which case, he
saying.
could use it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but I'm saying like, I don't really want to throw names out there, but like somebody like Art that has issues with their hands. Like to me, is that type of person going to be able to have a fast enough
Control.
reaction if
I don't
something
know that.
serious happens?
I don't know that Art has issues with his hands. He has problems walking. He has issues with his legs.
I think he has some with his hands, but like I'm saying,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to like call anybody out or anything. I'm just saying in general, there are, you know what I'm saying, something like that.
Because I know
Like,
when he went to the Philippines last time, he spent a lot of time walking around on crutches.
yeah.
now I've met Art in person. Art definitely has problems with his hands.
Yeah, he does.
I've met him in
But
person. I've seen
I
him
mean,
from person twice.
Like
Art drives
arthritis.
as well.
Like,
Oh, and that's what I'm saying. It's not like I said, it's not to come off mean or anything. It's just
Is what it is.
should people like
Yeah.
that be driving because or flying drones because of reaction time and the less mobility that they have in their hands? You know what I'm saying? Is it a good idea at the end of the day? I don't know.
I don't know.
But
I
like I get what
suppose.
what you're saying, flying
He
with
does
one
have to
hand.
do. He does have to do more things with his hands when he's driving.
East
I mean,
Coast says
'Cause he
that
can't
because
reach the
he cut his
pedals.
finger off in a lawnmower, I feel singled out in favor.
oh, yeah, yeah, but I'm not, like I said, it's not to come off mean. It's just like I just don't. I think in as a society, we try to integrate everybody into everything, and I don't think it's always such a good idea at the end of the day. Even though, because we don't want to make people feel left out, right? Like and I understand that, but at the same time, it's like there's certain cases where I've seen certain, like I've met people throughout my life that were worse off than Art and they were driving a car. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea, like at the end of the day, because, you know, somebody walks out into the road or they have to swerve, are they going to be able to react as easily or fast as somebody that's perfectly able, you know?
Mm. Do you have a similar thing in your country that when you get past the age of 70, you have to have an eye test every 2 years to keep your license?
I don't know, Paul.
No,
Well, every state's different, so I don't know.
every state's a little bit different, but no. It's only if you've had issues. In other words, like they can take and have you do a complete one-up test again if you've had issues and tickets and all kinds of stuff.
Uh,
Yeah, we don't have a
no.
national license. Each state does their own licensing
Yeah, no.
individually. So
Here, once you reach 70, you have to take an eye test every 2 years.
I think it's here, whatever you,
Well,
every
I've
time
seen,
you renew your license, I think
I've
you, at
seen
some
some
states.
people on the road that they should be taking the whole course again with somebody in the car, make sure they're driving on.
Dusty.
Yeah.
Well, I think here you have to take a simple eye exam at the DMV every time you renew your license, but
Well, it depends now. I renew my license online. I don't have to go to the
well, like I said, here if you renew
Secretary of
your
State's office.
license, I don't know if you can do it online here, but when I was in the DMV not too long ago, some guy was in there renewing his license sitting next to me. I was talking to him because actually he was from England and was living over here. He was a student. And I was talking to him and I was like, oh, I know a few people that live over there. And he was like, oh, yeah. And we were talking. And then the lady came up and he had to do his eye exam because he was renewing his license. And she made him do a quick eye exam in the little machine.
Yeah, our license when you first get it, when it was just a paper license, used to last until you were 70 anyway. And that was the only time you had to renew it then. But now, with it being a photo one, you have to renew the picture, only the picture, every 10 years.
Make a pill.
Because I mean, like I said, I've even seen people just like you're saying, Mark, from older age, I've seen people in their 80s that are frail as hell and driving a car still. And I'm like, I don't know if they should be on the road. Like they might still be mentally there, but it's like,
Physically demanding, yep.
right. And
Hey,
like Bill's, who was it?
my dad's still driving at 89.
Well, it was like, no, it was Donald said yesterday, he said, your reaction time does get less the older you get. He said it can go down. And like I said, I've
Yeah.
seen people that were in their 80s and even 90s that were very frail, like when they would walk and stuff, super slow and, and everything, but they would still be driving. And it's like, I don't know if that's a good idea, like, because it's like Donald said yesterday, your reaction time can be diminished almost in half at that age, and
Yeah,
that
I
might
know.
not
You
be a
see,
good
he does
idea.
tend to drive slower, and he does stay in gear a lot longer than he should do before he changes up, which is why he would be better off with an automatic, but he hasn't got one.
Like I said, it's nothing against people like that. I just, it's something I thought about before when Rod was talking about all that stuff.
Mm.
What does the KB index do to a drone? It is at 8.00 kp right now. It messes with the GPS, Dusty. It can screw with the GPS
Yeah, in
signal and
other
all
words,
that.
like you could lose
And Wi-Fi
partial
sig
control. Yep.
and Wi-Fi signal as well. It can screw with the Wi-Fi signal too.
Yeah, it's a measurement of magnetic interference.
Right, and the reason why it's so high right now is because of the intense solar flares coming off the sun hitting the atmosphere. So not only can it screw with your GPS on your drone, but it can also screw with your Wi-Fi signal of the drone as well. Like, so it's one of the things they warn you about is Wi-Fi signals. So you you have to be vigilant when it's that high. And like Paul said, when he just looked up the information on it, it says the highest is what, a 9
Yeah, it
that
does
they have
say
a
9.
rating for.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not very far from being at the highest peak.
Well,
That may
and it
be
also said that you should be very careful if you fly over
well, and
a KP index of 3.
and it might only be a 9 because that may be the highest they've ever registered in recorded history, of actually monitoring that. So it may be possible there's a lot higher ones that they just have never registered, and they'll adjust that accordingly if they ever do register something higher than that.
I looked it
know.
up on Google, and Google said the highest intensity is 9.
Right, and that could be some kind of thing that have to do with physics. Maybe it's not possible to get higher than 9, or maybe that's the highest they've ever recorded, you
Mm,
know? And so they've never upped the scale on it. But yeah, that's definitely worrying some. You could be careful.
yeah, UAV forecast won't let you set it past 9 anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, Dust or Joel, I definitely wouldn't risk it. It's really not worth it, to be honest with you. I mean, you could put your drone up and be fine for fly it around for an hour and nothing happened, but you always have that risk, you know. Not to mention solar flares can knock out satellites sometimes too, so you might be flying, all of a sudden the fucking GPS system goes down. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
yeah,
wouldn't be good.
they do have some shielding towards that on satellites, but it still happens.
Yeah, I think you're more likely to have a flyaway with
I
the
wouldn't,
APA index this high.
You're singing
I,
that song "Fly Away."
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if Starlink doesn't lose some satellites to that, to be honest with you. They did the last time there was a solar flare. They lost like I think it was like 50 or 60 of them. But they had so many up there that they were able to fill the gap in pretty quick. But yeah, they lost quite a few last time because of a major solar flare about a year and a half ago. I think they lost like 50 or something like that. So the little mini sats. But see, I think his whole deal is why he wants to put so many up there. You don't really need that many to blanket the whole world, but I think it's good to have that many up there because if you have a hole or a portion of them that get knocked out, you can immediately have a bunch of other ones move in and fill that gap back in, right? And then
I think he's building an asteroid defense.
you can have tons of redundancy satellites just floating up there ready to take over when one goes down, right? I've heard so many different numbers that they want to put up there. I've heard 6,000, I've heard 12,000, I've heard 18,000. I don't know what the exact number of satellites they want to put up there, but as far as the Starlink goes, but I've heard all different numbers.
Well, I think he's got 4,500 up there now. And I think the article I read said that his intention was to put up something like 45,000.
Right, and I think a lot of it's just redundancy shit, like to have extras up there. If something goes wrong, they don't have to stress on it. They could just say, okay, 10 went out. All right, we're going to flip these 10 on and it's going to fill in that gap that it caused. And then you have uninterrupted service, right? And then they can worry about the other 10 that are dead later on and send 10 more up to replace that, right? Because they're at this point, uh, I think,
Well, the more he's got up, the bigger coverage he gets.
right. I wonder how much each one of those costs. Let's see if they give a price on it.
Well, you're probably talking a couple of million each.
I don't know. So each one, some reports say Starlink satellites cost around $250,000 each. However, the cost of Starlink satellites can vary depending on the design capabilities and production volume. So they can range between a quarter to 1.2 million, quarter million to 1.2 million a piece. So,
Plus the cost of putting them up there.
right, exactly. So the cheapest way to launch Starlink satellites into space, Falcon 9, which starts around 62 million. And I think, let's see how many they can put on one rocket.
Because they are only small satellites, they're not big.
How many Starlink satellites? So they can do a 50 to 100 of the satellites per launch. So they're very
Wow.
small if they're doing that. They've got to be like shoebox size or something if they're launching that many in one rocket.
Yeah.
They're probably not much bigger than like a ship, like a storage container or a shoebox or something. I mean, and we see that they're doing sometimes 1 to 3 launches a week. So yeah,
That's a lot of satellite.
yep. Most of the launches they do are for those satellites too. Now, that motherfucker could lose 50 billion and still be sitting pretty. I mean, he spent 40, dude, I'm telling you, everybody thinks, oh, Elon was stupid for buying Twitter. The motherfucker did it as a flex. That's all he did it. He was like, look, I can spend 40 billion, buy a platform and do whatever the hell I want with it. That's all he did. He spent 40 billion like it was not like it was going like money was going out of style. He did it as a flex to everybody, like pretty much like, look what I can do. Fuck all you. Because he is one of the few I would say he's one of the few billionaires that's actually not in the rest of the billionaire club. He doesn't get along with all the other billionaires. Like he told the CEO of Disney when he was up on stage that day, he said, "You want to try to blackmail me with advertisement?" He goes, "Fuck you." That's what he said on stage during the interview. He told the CEO of Disney, he was like, "Fuck you," in those exact words too.
Yeah, I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah, he wasn't playing around. Like he doesn't really follow the same billionaire. Like he's definitely unique in his own way when it comes to billionaires because he doesn't act like all the other ones do. You know, he's very modest too about what he owns. He doesn't own a bunch of houses and yachts, and the dude lives in a house that's worth like $200,000. This dude could easily have a 40-bedroom house if he wanted to without breaking a sweat. You know, he
God,
could easily.
the Tesla he put up in space in a rocket is worth that much.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He could easily live in a 30, 40, 50 million, $100 million home without breaking a sweat. And he doesn't. He lives in a $250,000 home right off the complex where Starlinks or where the headquarters are for SpaceX. As a matter of fact, I think it's on the same property as the actual facility. It's on the property because he does live streams from it sometimes. And when you look at the background of the house, dude, it looks like something that's just an everyday family lives in. Nothing special about it. Uh, Solar Flares Live. All right, hold on, let's see. Okay, so this is a live video from NASA. No, this is archive footage from NASA. This isn't actual, I think, what's going on right now. Oh, 5/11. Well, it says today's date and time, but it says archive footage. I don't know.
Wow.
Let's
Yeah, they said that that solar flare today was like 5 times the size of the Earth.
yeah, look at it. Look at that one.
Mm.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. Go. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, what you can fit? Well, like what was it, 10,000 Earths or some shit or 100,000 Earths in the sun?
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.
Dusty, you can actually set the limit of KP index on UAV forecast to say when you can't fly. If you click on the button that says KP index, there's a slider there for you to adjust
Yep,
it.
I think mine's set at 3.
So you can set it to whatever your comfort level is to flying in, pretty much.
Yeah,
Right?
I've got mine set at 4.
Yeah, mine's at 3.4. That's what mine's at.
Yeah, it'll be red once it goes over the number you've got it set at.
Yeah,
On that
I'm at
slider.
8.0 right now.
Yeah, mine is too.
And ain't no flying right now. All right, I got a couple of hours on this print, so hopefully it'll go down. I want to go out to the either the river today or up by Boat again, because that place, since the day's gonna be beautiful again, there's gonna be kayakers all over that thing.
I wonder where Donald and
still-
everybody is today.
I'm still kind of up in the air about this case or not, whether I like it or not.
All right, Joe.
I
We'll
like
catch
it
you later.
and I don't like it. Later, Jojo.
Why?
I like it. I like it because I like the case. I like the case. I said again, like I was saying last night, I like the other case. I'll actually put the other case away last night. Put it back in the box.
I thought you sent the other one back.
Well, no. What I did is I sent one case back, but because the reason I sent one case back is because I didn't like the design, but I didn't like the Start RC design either. And
Yeah.
and then the same company I bought from, FPV Toski, it's called. They came out with a second design, and I like that design. No, so it was a little bit of change. And wait, let me find it for you. I'll show you. All right. Let me see if I can get to it.
Yeah, Dusty, a lot of people use the Harbor Freight cases back when I first got in the drone community, but the problem is you got to coat the foam because that foam
Yeah.
disintegrates really quickly. If you don't,
Yeah, this
you have
is
to, what do you have to like? You have to coat it in some kind of sealant or something, right? The foam
Yeah.
from Harbor Freight, because otherwise it starts deteriorating after about a year. I can't remember what they used to coat the foam with, but I remember everybody saying you had to coat the foam with something.
Yeah, they sell something over there. You spray it with.
Yeah.
So,
That's the one that has the little blocks that you pull out, huh?
yeah. This is the
Yeah.
case that I had. I bought first. Yeah, like that. That's the one I bought first.
Well, what's so different about the new case that you didn't like about the
Well,
old
I'll
one?
show you. You see how this is? You got the 4 batteries, right? The
Right?
controls and that. And when you went to this port right here, the charger fit underneath that, up in this
Okay.
big hole,
Right.
right? And the motion controller fits underneath that. I like that up here, but I didn't like the charger down there for some reason. I just didn't like it.
Well, you don't have the stick controller anyway. Isn't that the slot for the stick controller?
Yeah, that's for the sticks back here.
Yeah.
but.
I mean,
I'll
as
show
much
you.
as you want an area for your charger in your case, though, how often are you really taking your charger with you? Unless you're actually traveling, right?
Right, and this is the case that I got. And if you look at it, it's got the 3 batteries right here. And it's got the charging hub sits right down up in there. And that was the only really big difference is you put the charging hub, they give you this space right here. If you don't have that 4th battery, or you could use that to put wires in, just to let wires like your connections in. And then right here, like I said, I've got that piece that is about that wide for the propellers. So I use that for the propellers. And then underneath it, they still got that big hole where the motion controller goes. And what I'm printing back here is a box that fits in here where I can put other stuff in there.
Hey, Lance.
So it just makes a little bit difference in the design. I like that design a little bit better. And
Or
then
you-
right here, that's for the filters. Filters, the case fits right up into that. And this spot right here is really a useless spot other than the fact that the things I have for the goggles, like the covers, slides right down up in it.
Well, you sending the other one back or what?
Well, I sent the first one back already. I got the refund on
Thing
Oh.
I
it.
don't
And this one came in
understand is
yesterday. Hey,
that
Lance.
block of foam that's in the lid of the case
Right.
is glued in. You can't move it. You can't do anything with it. Why didn't they make that so that it was a flap that folded down so that you could put cables behind that and then close it back up into the lid to give you just a little bit of extra storage for putting stuff like that in?
What do you got,
Well,
Lance?
They didn't have you as a designer.
Won
Mm.
first place last night in our film contest.
You won first place.
Well
All
done.
right.
And there's our trophy, if I can get it in focus. For the best lion break a leg. So
Nice.
that was that was a fun night last night.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Then I headed south to Olympia right after the contest
Oh, and you
Well,
took, you,
to get
we
the Northern
can't
Lights.
see it.
did you
because-
get Northern Lights?
I did,
All
but
you can-
not very good because I was
All
way
your
too
camera is
right
showing is a little white figurine.
then.
Well, what he's showing
I
you
don't
is
think you've got
it,
your. I don't think you've got your camera on, have you?
it looks like a card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a postcard. Can you make me big?
Yeah, hang on.
I'm in here twice, it looks like, huh?
Yeah.
That's better. Now I can see you.
Team Juggernaut.
Yeah.
And then you see my name and Tim, and then we're too many cooks.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good for you.
And is that the first time you've won it?
It's our third time in 11
good.
years.
That's
It's-
pretty good.
It's not easy to win, and there are really 10 good films every year, and then there's 10 mediocre, and then there's 10 really bad ones. There's usually 30, or there's 30, and over the 11 years that I've entered, we've won 3 times, so which is kind of hard to do.
That's good odds. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I told you it was pretty good when I saw it.
Yeah, thank you.
I take it you won't be flying on your way into work unless you're already in work.
It's Saturday. Yeah,
It's
I've got a lot
Saturday.
of
Oh, that's true.
lot
It's
of
Saturday.
honeydews to do. I've got
Yeah. Well,
And,
we would suggest you don't fly at all.
yeah, I'm going to tonight, and I can fly from my house tonight because the TFR will be lifted.
Yeah, but the KP index is 8.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay though, don't you?
Well, the
Tonight it's
highest
open.
it goes is 9.
The highest it goes is 9.
It was 8.33 a little while ago.
Usually it's around 3 or 4. So
I'm gonna fly it. Send it.
It's not. It's normally under 2.
Yeah, normally I see it around 1.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's trying to.
So
And
Lance, you said
actually,
you got
it-
this,
It will certainly affect your drone flight if it goes over 4.
Well, yeah, mine's 8 right now.
And actually, it
Yeah.
was higher than that last night. It was 8.33 at one point.
It was 8.33 about an hour ago.
Yeah,
yeah, an hour ago.
And what's it gonna do? What
it
do you
messes
Well,
think?
it's
with your one.
it's magnetic interference from the solar flares that will affect your GPS and your transmission signals.
Yeah. You always have I mean, you could put your drone up and nothing happened, but you're taking a chance for sure that you could have a flyaway or something.
Well, if you put the Avata up, you can have a fly away anyway, that piece of crap.
It is a piece of crap. Oh,
Did you see the Northern Lights yesterday, you said?
I did. I did.
They saw them 10 miles north of me.
Yeah, they said Florida that was seeing them. So
Covington,
Well-
Louisiana. So tonight I'm going out to that property I flew. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to, because there's no lights out there. It's real dark. And it's right around sunset. I'm gonna try to get out there and see if I can see them again. Or see them. I didn't see them last night. Suppose they have
Plans-
clear skies.
They say
Very
that if the
cool.
magnetic interference, if the KP index reaches 9, the northern lights can be seen from the equator.
wow.
Wow. That's why we're seeing them. It's so high.
Yeah.
Wow. They just said that at the border by El Paso, they said border agents had shots fired at them today by migrants coming across. Now we got to walk. Go to it.
Well, you got Bumblehead Biden in office, so.
Yesterday he was in
nothing's gonna
California.
change.
He was in California yesterday, and Palestinian protesters were running out in front of the motorcade trying to stop him.
Yep.
He came into Seattle last night. We had a TFR. I had to go down to Olympia to be able to fly my drone.
So the NOAA, the space weather or the National Weather Service for the US, they're
Yeah.
saying at noon it's gonna be a 9.
You serious?
Yeah.
KP 9.
Well, that's at
That
5
sucks. I don't want to go
o'clock,
fly.
isn't it? That's in an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, they're have it at a high 9.
How can it be a high now?
Well, whatever. You don't want to fly your fucking drone 9. There you go.
Yeah, okay.
They only have it updated till.
You're a high 10. You fine, baby. You a high 10.
Well, they only have it updated till noon so far, so. But right
Yeah.
now, because it looks like they're going every 4 hours. Or every 2 hours they're going. So between 9 and 12, it's at a 8.67 is what they're registering at right now. And at noon, it's supposed to be at a 9.
Wow. Well,
And
we're
I
gonna
would
get,
probably go by what they're saying over an app. Cause that's
Yeah.
like the national service that monitors space and all that.
yeah. You know what happens when it hits 9, right?
Yeah, the poltergeist
know-
activity in your apartment gets worse.
Yeah, your Christmas tree lights. There you go. He's got his
When it hits
tinfoil
9,
hat
you know
on.
what happens, huh? They
Oh,
start reading
Tim.
your mind. They're gonna try to. I'm gonna deflect it because they're gonna try to read my mind. Aliens will be coming up.
Tim Jackson says Justin Messenger.
Yeah, I'm about to jump off here anyway, so. Catch y'all later.
I might have to get a double layer.
Okay,
We got a
Justin.
lot of stuff there. I don't want
Well,
people to
you
know
know,
about.
I don't know how much longer we're gonna be on. Because Joe's gotta go get ready to fly.
Yeah, I'm not fine, but I'm all right.
And
Okay, guys, well,
and
I'm-
Mark is just kicking back.
I'm gonna head out. My wife's calling me. We've got some
Okay,
honeydews
Lance.
today.
Thanks,
Yeah,
buddy.
later, Lance.
Okay, guys.
Okay, we'll see everybody later today. Bye for
Okay.
now.
See you, Paul.
See you, Bob.
Did you track
Mark.
that package, Joe?
I actually lost the tracking number. So if you get a chance, just send it to me.
Well, you want to write it down? I'll give it to you.
Hold on. Go ahead.
1Z is in zebra, 9050E.
0 what?
W
Hold on, man. I lost you
W-
after the 5. Is it 905?
9050 or is 0, whatever.
Okay.
EW 0 345 741 270.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
I'll check it. Thank
Okay,
you.
buddy. We'll see you later.
Later.
Mark, have a good
See
day,
y'all.
buddy.
You too, Mark.
Yep.